What's up, everybody? This is Johnny Basement, and we're back here in the basement for, some soccer, some football, whatever you want to call it. I know it's called football more than soccer, but that's what we're here for. An Arsenal versus Southampton review. Subscribe, bell notice, hit the like button, drop your comments down below. I am brand new to this. Shout out to Angus. Shout out to Rick the Ninja for getting me into Arsenal and getting me into football. I will call it by the proper name, football. In America here, we call it soccer. And I got to admit to you guys, growing up, I really, no harm, no foul. I never got into soccer because I was into football, basketball, baseball, hockey. I was into all of these sports. That consumed all of my time. And I didn't grow up in an internet era where you could just watch multiple sports at a time, have 5,000 different apps to watch different games and all of that. Plus Arsenal comes on Peacock, and I get all their games. So they automatically became my team because I have been watching, guys. I have been watching. I never had any expectations going in to watch the game. Never any expectations. People say, oh, don't watch soccer because it can get boring. You're going to have 1-0 games or 0-0 games. Guys, I go in, I'm a sports fanatic. I go in with an open mind because people are passionate about their sports. I want to know why. I'm passionate about mine. I watch baseball. If I introduce somebody to baseball right now, you could say baseball is boring. Wow, I watch plenty of 0-0 games going into the 7th and 8th inning where both teams might have a couple of hits apiece. It's the strategy within the game that makes it exciting. The strategy within the game. I'm looking for the strategies. I'm looking how an offense sets up. I'm looking how the middies set up, how the defense sets up, how the forward does, where the goalie stands when the action's coming his way. Where is the goalie lining up? Is he out away from the net? Is he more by the corner? Where is he positioning himself? I look for strategies in games. So I don't look at just the score. The score doesn't always tell the whole story, as we just found out in the Southampton Arsenal game. I did watch 3 replays before I get into that. I did watch 3 replays of games so I can get an idea of this Arsenal team. The first one I watched was against Tottenham. 1-0 Arsenal. Decent game. It was decent. A lot of defense, a lot of strategy in that. Decent game, and I understand Arsenal was supposed to win that game. Then the Man City game. That was an exciting game. Man City, and I knew that was a big rivalry. I knew that going in. I read up a little bit on it. What a game, and to think that, I didn't know that a team can get a red card and have a player pulled. It's like a power play in hockey. You're down a man. You're down a man. So in that second half, Arsenal only had like 10 guys for like most of that half. They were up 2-1, and then they gave up that goal toward the end and took away the 3 points and ended up with 1 point. But that's the kind of game I'm talking about. That's the kind of game that gets a guy like me into the sport. Then I watched, I might chop this name up. Is it Leicester? I watched Leicester game where Arsenal took a 2-0 lead, then blew it. It went 2-2. Then it went to 2-2. They just blew it. They laid down, just blew that game, and then came back and won 4-2. That was an exciting game. And Gabriel, that guy had 2 headers, 2 games in a row from corner kicks that were out of this world. Out of this world. He came running up, was just bam with his head and went right in. What a projectile shot on both times, man. Those are the kind of things I look for. Exciting plays like that. And when I saw that, watch out. Martinelli and Saka, these guys are incredible ball players, man. These guys are incredible players. I might get some terminology wrong. I might get some areas wrong that I just don't know enough yet. Today I watched the game live. I'm only 4 games into this thing. Only 4 games in. So bear with me. If you got comments, please drop them and let me know. Let me know what else to look for. I'm going to watch a whole lot of soccer over the next couple of weeks. I have the baseball playoffs right now. So, but other than that, I'm going to be really in on this soccer for the whole season. Ask the Australian footy guys. These guys know when I get into it, I get into it. Anyway, today's game, I looked at the records coming in. Like Southampton's 0-5, and I think they had 1 draw. And I'm like, oh, well, this is a classic trap game. Classic trap game. And it sure looked it because Arsenal came out. Arsenal came out and put up a full campsite. what we like to call over here a campsite. Got your tents, your dogs, your beers, your cooler, your burgers, got the grill going, got the family there. Everybody's hanging out because we're all hanging out in Southampton zone. Hanging out for almost the entire first half. And what did they get out of it? Nada. 11, I have it written here, 11 shot attempts, 0 on target. Can you imagine that? 11 shot attempts, 0 on target. They looked discombobulated down there. They got down there, and it didn't seem like anybody else was spreading out. They weren't really distributing the ball properly. They were letting defenders come up on them before they would pass the ball off. It would get blocked, sloppy shots. This is very similar to hockey in a lot of ways. I love comparing things to like hockey because it's kind of the same setup as hockey and basketball. Hockey, you crash the net. Everybody comes in and crashes the net, but there's a couple guys lingering around when you draw the defense in, and they come in strong like this. You always have a couple guys that can flare out, and you just pass that ball out, pass the puck out. They weren't getting that enough time. They're letting the defenders come up on them too soon before they tried to pass the ball, and then it got blocked or a sloppy shot happened. Can you imagine in that first half, 11 shot attempts, 0 on target? Southampton had 2 shot attempts. I believe I'm going off the top of my head right now. 2 shot attempts. 1 was on target. 1. What was that? That is a classic going through the motions. I don't care what sport it is. I can recognize things like this. Going through the motions. We're going to beat this team. They're 0-5. They had 1 draw. We're going to beat them. Man, this game should have been an absolute blowout. And that's what I meant by the score doesn't always tell the whole story. 3-1 looks like, all right, man, they controlled this whole game. No, they controlled it, but they didn't control it shot-wise. This game could have been 9-0. I know that's not really that common in soccer, but it could have been 9-0. They hung out in front of that net. Oh, and I found out that Aaron Ramsdale, the goalie for Southampton, was the goalie for Arsenal for 3 years. Why did he leave? Why did he leave? I didn't know much about it. I didn't look into a lot of it yet, but I will. I do a lot of homework. I love sports fanatic. So I found out Ramsdale was playing against his former team. Made a couple of decent saves in that game, too, by the way. He took a nice shot in the gut. There was a couple times I thought there were some penalties that should have been called. Sterling was tripped like 2 or 3 times in the entire game, and not one yellow was called on anybody. On anybody. So they came, and 67% possession time. That was the other thing I was looking for. 67% possession time by Arsenal in that first half. 33% by Southampton, and they had 1 shot on target, and we had 0. 0! Anyway, moving on to the second half, come out flat as hell. Arsenal comes out flat as hell. Southampton scores. I'm like, are we going to have one of these games? Because my Jets, who, by the way, will be in London Sunday morning at 9:30, playing the Minnesota Vikings, they did this against a bad team last week. We lost 10-9 because we just didn't take advantage of anything given to us. And when I saw Southampton come out, and they came out hungry and strong and ready to go, and they scored a goal right off the bat. And that, by the way, that goal there, I wrote it down too. I take notes when I'm doing these things in new sports. 54 minutes, Fernandez tripped Sterling. It was one of the trips. He tripped him. Why was that not called? He tripped him, stole it, made a great pass down to Archer on a breakaway goal. Boom, scored right past Raya, went right in. Far corner. Why was that not tripping? Someone explain that to me. That was the 3rd time Sterling had been tripped that I saw in the game. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the way it is. Maybe they thought he touched the ball first. It didn't look like it. But anyway, he didn't get called for tripping. Southampton goes up 1-0. I'm like, is this going to be one of those classic trap games where we come out, expect to win, and then you lose? And don't take the team seriously, or you're looking to next week, or however you guys want to phrase it, because that's what we phrase it over here. Oh, they were looking to the better matchup next week and just didn't, disregarded this team. Arsenal answered right back. Saka made an incredible, once Martinelli subbed in, an incredible pass to Martinelli, who got the goal like this much in the corner, this much space, and he scored it, man. It was a beautiful pass by Saka. Martinelli gets that goal. He subbed in with Trossard and somebody else. Anyway, these two guys are amazing, Saka and Martinelli. Now, I'm just new with the team, and these two guys have already caught my eye in the 4 games now that I've watched. So these two guys are the real deal. So there was about 3 minutes and 30 seconds in between times that we were down 1-0, came back and tied it up 1-1. Then we took it serious. It's like that punch to the gut from Southampton. It was like, whoa, Arsenal's like, whoa, 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 we got to get out here. We got to score. We can't lose here. We can't give up these precious points right now. 3 points, right? 1 for a tie. Am I right on that? 1 point for a tie, 3 points for a win. You can't give up the 3 against teams you're supposed to beat. So, that happened there. They answered before that, I jumped right to the exciting goal. Havertz scored before that to tie the game. Martinelli's goal put him ahead. My bad. We're in the basement. You don't get any lower than that. So we're in the basement and mistakes are going to happen. I was just so excited to talk about that amazing pass by Saka and goal by Martinelli. I forgot that Havertz was the one that tied the game up. Havertz tied the game up. And then Martinelli scored and we went ahead. And then Saka later on in the game scored the goal that just put the game away 3-1. So you could say that it's fair to say Arsenal played half a game. I mean, you could say they played a great first half. They were in the zone a lot. They had the full campsite going. Southampton, did they play great defense? Or did Arsenal not really have the great setups in front of the net? They were all there, but it looked a little discombobulated. Looked a little out of set. Looked a little out of order for a team that should be dominating another team. And this happens in sports, guys. We call it in American football, we call it any given Sunday. Any given Sunday, Team A can beat Team B can beat Team A. Just how the ball bounces that day, man, and I thought this was not going their way. I thought it was not going their way, but I'll tell you what, this has been an exciting, exciting game. I think I touched on everything I wanted to touch on, and I'll tell you what, this is not boring. Soccer is not boring. As I said in the beginning, I'm a baseball fan. Baseball, I've seen some boring baseball games. I've seen games that finally someone hit a walk-off home run, we call it. Walk-off home run. They could leave the field because we finally won 1-0. We get games like that in baseball. It's about the strategy of the game, guys. What is the strategy? Are they going to make in-game coaching transitions? Are you going to sub the right players in? Martinelli. Things like that. That's what I want to see, how the game is run and how it's planned out on the field. What is the strategy and how are we going to counter what the other team is trying to do? And if our original plan isn't working, toss it and get in with a different type of plan. Not every coach does that. Some coaches are prideful. Some coaches aren't, to where they will make changes. Other coaches don't. Just stick with the same game plan. I've seen it on plenty of my own teams right here. Anyway, guys, I'll be here through the entire Arsenal season. I'm an Arsenal fan now. That's the way it is. Let's keep it rolling with this team. I'm loving what I'm seeing so far. I've seen some very exciting games in my 4-game history of being into football. So we'll just take it from here, guys. Thanks for supporting the channel. Drop your helpful comments down below and let me know what else I have to look for. I would really appreciate all of the help I can get as this new American Arsenal fan is here. Subscribe, bell notice, hit the like button. I'm Johnny Basement, and I am out.